funding to Ukraine?
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States of America.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're having a great and wonderful day. Well, it seems like everybody's about all the rage about Vivek Ramaswamy, and who can really blame them? This man at the debate kind of schooled everybody, even DeSantis, and you know what? Every time I see him on TV, every time I see him on a stream or a debate, I really end up liking the guy. He seems genuine, he seems down to earth, he doesn't seem paid for, he seems like the man that we need to run this country. Now, granted, I don't think he has a snowball stream in hell of beating Trump because it's just the way Trump is right now, right? The indictments have only boosted his his candidacy and likability. So I don't see where Vivek can really win that. However, he is an amazing and great second choice for our for presidency. And we're gonna have a few clips here that I'm gonna show you guys that has a lot to do with Vivek and the things that he said. And I'll go further into detail as well on kind of like, you know, maybe what we can, what he's done for himself, right? This is probably one of the greatest people that I've seen so far that I think that can really lead us. And aside from Trump, and I think we should embrace the whole power of Vivek because this man has it. All right, without further ado, here's some clips.
Add climate change policies. This isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock American energy, drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Put people back to work by no longer paying them more to stay at home. Reform the U.S. Fed, stabilize the U.S. dollar, and go to war. The only war that I will declare as U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine?
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States of America.
So to the education question, how would you deal with the crisis?
So look, we have a crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education. Take that $80 billion, put it in the hands of parents across this country. This is the civil rights issue of our time. Allow any parent to choose where they send their kids to school. End the teachers' unions at the local level to allow public schools to compete. And then revive our national identity where every high school senior should have to pass the same civics test that, frankly, every immigrant, including my mother, had to pass in order to become a citizen of this country. I am running for president of the United States. We're skating on thin ice, and we cannot set a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization of justice in this country.
And everything I hear from Vivek is 100% true and what I also believe in. I believe that we do have a huge problem when it comes down to what I would say an education issue. We have indoctrination, which, you know, honestly, DeSantis says has been going on, and we have obviously a issue with everything that's been going on with our education system, right? I think the best things that he said so far with the education, which I don't think I heard anybody say so far, is really get rid of the teachers union, get rid of the teachers association and all that other stuff, because they are the crutch of what's bringing down a lot of what we have today. It really is. And I think that Vivek has a great way of dealing with this. He wants to bring down not just, you know, the teachers union and all this other stuff, but also every form of government. He wants school choice to the highest order. He also wants even people to do civics, which is another great thing, because I think that there are people here in our country that just do not know what it is to be an American, what are the typical American paths, etc. And honestly, you have a lot of liberals being able to vote with not knowing anything at all. And I think that's one of our greatest problems in this country as well, is that Yes, of course. You have a lot of people that was grown up back in those days where, a lot of the core fundamentals of our country was instilled in them, and it was going on for a few generations, right? You have that. But today we don't have that. It's a completely different world now. So that being said, I think that we should have a civic course test for that. Like he said, what even his parents had to take to even get into the country. That all kids in high school should take before having to go to college, because they shouldn't. I don't think kids should be allowed to just be able to vote willy-nilly without actually knowing a little bit about their country. It's just really asinine, and you get real big idiots spouting off and be able to vote and stuff like that without knowing anything. And that's where we get out. That's where we get very bad voters and very bad end up election rollouts, because we have uninformed voters. We have people that don't know nothing about our country, and they say things that just make any sense. So trying to instill the American heart into our people, and make it in our country is so crucial and important. And along with many other things. Now, we have some great things that coming from Vivek, and one of the other great things that I loved about this as well is that Vivek was completely dominated and crushed Chris Christie. He made him look like a fool. Pretty much ended his career. And I'm going to show you this clip of Chris Christie going after Vivek for honestly no real reason. This whole debate was honestly stupid in my opinion, where it was just a whole bunch of toddlers yelling at each other besides someone DeSantis and Vivek. And whenever they seemed to try to Vivek was trying to make his point, they were screaming at him, acting like a child, stupidly, and it just didn't seem to get their point across. So here's some clips with Vivek debating and discussing issues with Chris Christie.
Signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would. Just hold on.
To stop normalizing this conduct, okay? Now, whether or not you believe that the criminal charges are right or wrong, the conduct is beneath the office of President of the United States. And this is the great thing about this country. Booing is allowed, but it doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change the truth.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you raised your hand supporting.
I'd like to get in and respond. Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact. And Chris Christie, honest to God, your claim that Donald Trump is motivated by vengeance and grievance would be a lot more credible if your entire campaign were not based on vengeance and grievance against one man. And if people at home want to see a bunch of people blindly bashing Donald Trump without an iota of vision for this country, they could just change the channel to MSNBC right now. But I'm not running for president of MSNBC. I am running for president of the United States. We're skating on thin ice, and we cannot set a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization of justice in this country.
30 seconds, Governor DeSantis.
You sit here in an answer. You sit here in an answer right.
Hold on one second.
You sit here in an answer.
Go ahead, Governor Christie.
Hold on, Governor Christie.
Hold on.
Well, so listen.
Now, the one crucial thing here, and I'll put it up for you all to see right here, where Vivek Ramaswamy, pretty much the moderator said that, like, will you still pardon Trump? Vivek put up his arm almost immediately. His hand went up almost practically immediately, right? And the others took their sweet time. Some almost did about 2-3 seconds afterwards. The others waited for the crowd to kind of roar and make their voice, and then they started raising their hand ever so slightly. It's like, these people are horrible, all right? Vivek is a man of honesty. Vivek is a man that says what he wants and is truth to his word. He doesn't need other people to coach him or pay for him or stuff like that to make his voice be heard. This is what makes him so relatable. And one thing I also want to mention is that I have a few people that have said that, like, oh, well, people want a politician. People, they don't have an experience. Well, we could say the same thing about Donald Trump, and he became president. So, that being said, is that that's just a complete stupidity in it all. I think that the majority, you can put the comments down below, I think the majority of the populace, at least in today's America, people do not want career politicians anymore. I think people are tired of career politicians. I think people that are no longer see them as a benefit because they're not relatable, they lie, they don't really produce anything. It's like, yes, they do the political talk, but that doesn't reach people reach people that are down to earth, that are facing what reality is. People know and can relate to Vivek and Trump because they're more down to earth, they're more relatable, they are more human than some of these political politicians. And people just want somebody that's truthful, somebody that's honest, somebody that speaks the way it is and for the American people, and these politicians don't speak for us. They are bought, they are paid for, they are not in our front some of our best interests. And we've seen to where Nikki Haley goes off the handles when she's confronted, and she says, I'm a woman, or I'm a woman this, or it's like, come on, dude, this is just stupid. And I'm going to show you this clip exactly what I mean by this, where she says, I'm a woman, and I'm all this, and it leads on deaf ears.
First of all, Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 30 seconds. Mr. DeSantis,
Nikki, I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
I'm not on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon. And
Boeing came off of it, but you've been pushing this lie. You've been pushing this lie all week, Nikki.
You want to go and defund Israel? You want to
okay, let me address that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to address each of those right now. This is the false lies of a professional politician. There you have it.
Your watch,
so the reality
make America less safe. You have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what? The foreign policy experience that you all have shows in the pointless wars we've gotten into. I have to address that. So our relationship with Israel will never be stronger than by the end of my first term. But it's not a client relationship. It is a friendship. And you know what friends do? Friends help each other stand on their own 2 feet. So I will lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear armed. But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough on crime policies. I love that they have a national identity and an iron dome to protect their homeland. And so, yes, I want to learn from the friends that we're supporting. And what puzzles me is, I want to learn from those and apply those to protect our homeland, Nikki.
Israel
that is the
needs
answer.
America needs Israel.
Okay, Governor DeSantis, you were mentioned in the terror.
And here's my problem with this, right? Is that the woman comes out here and instead of letting the man speak his piece and speak what he says, she yells at him, speaks down to him, be obnoxious and stuff like that. And that's not something that is right. It's one thing to interrupt, but what she did was interrupt, yell, be obnoxious and stuff like that. And that's just not how you do something in debate. Which makes me think that if we're really going to go down to credibility and class, then Nikki Haley fails miserably. I don't think she is the best for this. I think that she is a bot politician, and I don't think that she is great for this country at all. Even though she may have been one of the better ones that was up there, it still she seemed to fall very hard flat compared to I would say Vivek Ramaswamy. And we have best candidates. Now, one of the bigger issues that I had up there, and was a lot of people are saying, is like, where was Larry Elder? Some people were saying, like, oh, well, he's going to be on the next one, or, you know, what have you. But I would love to have seen Larry Elder up there as well, because I think he is honestly better than all those other candidates besides maybe Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy. I think we have 3 really good candidates outside of, well, maybe just 2 now, because DeSantis did okay, but I like Vivek more in this case. But Larry Elder would also probably would have been a good candidate, because he also had very good ideas on how he was going to tackle some of the problems in the black community as well. So they eliminated, they didn't have another really good candidate there that I think that would have been a good debater and good combatant for Vivek. And unfortunately, we did not see him. So hopefully we get to see him soon. But I don't know. I didn't like any of these neocons. I didn't like any of these people here. They were all honestly pretty trash. Especially Chris Christie. These people were honestly terrible. I don't think any of these people are good for the job. And I'm gonna go with somebody that is truthful, don't care if he doesn't have any political experience, because it doesn't really matter to me, honestly. I want to know what his true idea is and what he wants to put on the table. These people had nothing to do but bash Trump, be in the past, not look toward the future. Even Ron DeSantis was looking towards the future, be in the past, and not address any of the serious issues that would come out of place. Yes, they have some things here, but Vivek delivered more perfectly and more coherently and better than all these people can possible. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, try, share, and as always, my friends, take care.